I want everyone here to raise a glass to the man who pretended to be a father for 19 years. That's what the groom's new mother-in-law shouted across the hall, and everyone laughed. I looked down at the nameplate in front of me. Low-educated fake dad. Polished letters. Gold trim. Like an award. Like they rehearsed it. My son Noah sat beside me, frozen. His bride, Amanda, didn't even flinch. Her Ivy League father gave me a smirk and sipped champagne. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I felt my ears ringing. The crowd laughed harder when I stood up. I heard someone say, "Guess he finally got the message." I turned to Noah, my voice cracking. "You let them do this to me?" He didn't answer. So I walked. Down the aisle. Past the DJ. Past the table of framed childhood photos. Photos I took. Birthdays I paid for. Outside, in the cold air, I collapsed onto the stone steps. I wasn't crying. I was something else. Something worse. I felt hollow. Then the door opened behind me. "Dad, let's go home." He said it like it fixed everything. Like this betrayal wasn't the sharpest blade I'd ever felt in my back. But what happened the next day made that wedding feel like a warm-up. At 7:12 a.m., I opened my wife's laptop. Not because I was snooping. I was looking for a damn parking invoice. But her inbox was open, and the first message I saw read, "He's too weak to notice anything. Let's finalize the shares." From a man named Miles Patterson. I froze, then scrolled. It was like slicing through skin and finding rot inside. Dozens of messages. Secret meetups. Plans. Photos. One video. Her in a hotel room. Not naked, but barely clothed, whispering to the camera. He thinks I'm at book club. I hate the way he smells. I only stay for his idiot son's company shares. That son. My son. The same one who just let me be humiliated in front of 200 people. They were moving his startup equity into a new joint account. One with Lena's name and Miles' firm. Fraud. Theft. All of it. And here's the kicker. One message said, "After the wedding, he'll be too broken to fight back. We'll finish the transfer by Monday." She planned it. She needed me shattered. Publicly disgraced. So I wouldn't resist. I heard the front door open. I didn't move. Lena's heels clicked on the tile. She walked in with a box of croissants like it was Sunday morning. Then she saw me in her office chair. "Rick, what are you doing?" I turned the laptop toward her. Pressed play. The video looped. Her whispering. Her betrayal in HD. Her jaw clenched. But she didn't gasp. She didn't beg. She smirked. "So you found it." That's all she said. No shame. No fear. Just pure, bitter victory in her voice. I stood up, slowly. Looked her dead in the eye. "You think I'm done?" She crossed her arms. "I think you're stupid enough to try something emotional. Like burning down the house, or crying to your son." I stepped closer. Her perfume made me nauseous. "You think I'm weak? You think I'll just walk away?" She grinned. "No. I think you'll do exactly what losers like you always do. Nothing." She didn't know I'd already copied everything. Emails. Messages. Transfer logs. Call recordings. Enough to bury her and her lover for good. And I hadn't even told Noah yet. But I would. And I wouldn't just destroy her. I'd make sure she watched everything fall apart. One piece at a time. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the kitchen, laptop open, reading and rereading every message between Lena and Miles. Each one like a knife to the throat. They called me the idiot. They laughed about how easy it was to gaslight me. She even wrote, "He thinks I'm still with him because of love. God, he's dumb." I guess the dumbest thing I ever did was believe she was decent. By sunrise, I'd already transferred every file to 2 flash drives, uploaded it to cloud storage, and even sent a copy to an old friend from the precinct. I used to work night security for the city transit system. Nothing fancy, but I made some connections over the years. The kind of people who owed me favors. The kind who still respected real loyalty. At 9:04 a.m., I called Noah. He didn't answer. So I drove to his office. His new job, thanks to me recommending him to my old friend, Alex, the one who got him the interview. I helped him build the resume. Practiced mock interviews. I even loaned him money for his first suit. He owed me everything. And now he was helping take it all away. When I walked into the glass building, I expected security to stop me. But the guy at the front desk recognized me, said, "You're Mr. Stanton, right?" Noah's dad. "Yeah," I said, and the word dad suddenly felt unfamiliar in my mouth. He let me through. 3rd floor. Open office. Tech startup vibes. Everyone on laptops and bean bags. I found Noah in a glass meeting room, laughing with 2 guys. smiling like the world was perfect. I knocked once. Hard. He turned. His face dropped when he saw me. He stood up, visibly uncomfortable. "Dad, what are you?" I walked in, shut the door behind me, and threw the flash drive onto the table. "You're gonna want to see this before your name ends up on a fraud investigation." The two guys looked at him, then at me, then quietly left the room. Noah picked up the drive slowly, confused. "What's this?" "Lena. And Miles. And you." "I don't understand." "You will. Play the video. The one from last week." He plugged it into his laptop. The video opened. There she was, Lena, in a silk robe, sitting on the edge of a hotel bed, whispering into the camera. "He's just a placeholder. A means to an end. Once the wedding's over, we'll move the shares into the new account. He won't even know what hit him." Noah's face turned white. I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. He watched the whole 2-minute video in silence. When it ended, he closed the laptop and sat down. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. She said you were okay with the nameplate. That it was your idea." I nearly flipped the table. "Your bride's family laughed in my face. And you believe that? After everything?" He buried his face in his hands. "I didn't know." "No. You didn't want to know. That's worse." I leaned in. "They used you, Noah. And you let them. You turned on your own blood. For what? So they'd call you one of them." He didn't speak. "They think I'm a fake dad? Fine. But I'm the only one who's been real with you since day one." Noah whispered, "What do I do?" "You grow up. You face this. You take your damn name off every document Lena touched. You call the lawyers. You clean it up." He nodded slowly. "And you go home tonight," I added. "And you tell your wife the wedding's the only thing she'll ever get from you." Then I walked out. That night, I didn't go home. I stayed in a motel. Cheap place. Smelled like old carpets and burnt coffee. But it was quiet. Peaceful even. Until my phone buzzed. Blocked number. I answered. A voice I didn't recognize. "You don't know who you're messing with, Rick." Then silence. I froze. The voice wasn't Miles. It was someone else. Someone darker. Colder. And right then I realized. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a setup. A game. And I'd just become a threat to people who weren't playing fair. The next morning, I went back to the house. Lena was gone. So was the safe in the closet. And every file I kept there for over 20 years. I opened the bedroom drawer. Her wedding ring was there, next to a note. For words, scrawled in perfect cursive. "You never stood chance." I smiled. Cold, dry, and hollow. Because she had no idea. I was just getting started. I drove straight to Alex's office. He was the only one I trusted now. Old school guy. Bald, thick hands. Always smelled like cigars and motor oil. He'd done 20 years as a police investigator before retiring early and opening his own firm, private consulting. But we both knew that meant quiet favors for the right people. When I walked in, he looked up from a stack of papers and whistled low. "You look like hell. I found out my wife's a snake, and I've been living in a den full of them. What do you expect?" He stood up and shut the door behind me. "Tell me everything." So I did. I told him about the nameplate, the emails, the fake accounts, the video, the blocked call, all of it. Every disgusting detail that had been rotting inside me for days. He sat back in his chair, arms folded, then leaned forward. "You said the call wasn't from Miles?" "No." The voice was deeper, controlled, like someone who's made threats before. Alex nodded. "Then we're not just talking about adultery or stolen shares anymore. We're talking organized fraud, possibly laundering. And if Miles is in it with her, and she's moving funds under your son's name, then Noah could go down for all of it." I finished. "And so could you, depending on what account she tied you to while smiling in your face." I felt the heat rise in my chest again. My knuckles tightened. "Then let's burn them all." Alex cracked a small smile. "Now we're talking." He got to work immediately, pulling up public records, digging into Miles Patterson's company, Lena's old contracts, any paper trail she thought she'd hidden. And it didn't take long before we hit something nasty. "There's a fund," Alex said, pointing at the screen. "Registered offshore. Cayman Islands. Under the name of Stanton Holdings, LLC. My last name. But I'd never opened any LLC in my life. The listed contact? Miles Patterson. The secondary signer? Lena." I leaned in. "What address did they use?" Alex turned the monitor toward me. "My house." She'd used my house address to open an offshore account under my name. "If this goes public," Alex said, "you'll be the one they throw under the bus first. Not Miles. Not her. You." I laughed. But it wasn't humor. It was the sound of a man realizing he's been walking through a minefield barefoot. I want to flip the board, I said. Everything. I want to destroy the business, torch their reputations, and drag Lena's sorry face into court if I have to. Alex raised an eyebrow. You sure? This could get ugly. I looked him dead in the eye. I'm counting on it. By the time I got back to the motel, I had 3 voicemails. One from Noah, his voice broken, apologizing, saying he wanted to make things right. Another from Alex, telling me he found more shell companies. And the last was from Lena. She was drunk. Or pretending to be. Rick, you don't understand. It was just business. It wasn't about you. You always made things so hard. You were so small. I had to think about the future. I didn't listen to the rest. I couldn't. I looked at the motel's ceiling fan, spinning slowly, and thought about all the things I'd ignored. The late nights. The weird charges. The way she'd touch her phone like it was part of her hand. I thought about the moment I fell in love with her, watching her light a cigarette with one hand while balancing a glass of wine with the other, laughing in my kitchen like she owned the place. And now I knew. She always thought she owned it. And me. That night, I dreamed I was drowning. In the dream, she stood on the shore, watching, arms crossed, telling me to stop being dramatic. That she had a meeting to get to. When I woke up, I wasn't scared. I was calm. Because now I knew what had to be done. I got dressed, called Noah, and said only 3 words. Meet me. Now. He showed up 20 minutes later. Dark circles under his eyes. Still wearing the same button-up from work. He looked like I'd felt for the last 72 hours, betrayed, cracked down the center, and trying to hold the pieces together with bare hands. I handed him a folder. Thick. Heavy. He opened it. And read. 10 minutes in, he dropped it. This is criminal. I nodded. And it's in your name. He looked up at me. Dad, what do we do? I took a deep breath. We take it all down. But first, I leaned in close, my voice a whisper, sharp and steady. You go back to her. Pretend everything's fine. Tell her you're on her side. Say you want to finalize the transfer together. Then we'll catch her in the act. He hesitated. What if she finds out I know? I smiled. She won't. Because she thinks you're stupid. Just like she thought I was. His jaw clenched. And for the first time since the wedding, I saw it in his eyes. Fire. Noah played his part better than I expected. He went back to their apartment that night with flowers, dinner, and a fake apology rehearsed word for word. Lena welcomed him like nothing had happened, like she hadn't humiliated his father, like she wasn't a lying scoundrel carving up his legacy behind his back. She posted a selfie with him on her story, rebuilding stronger 2 hearts. I nearly crushed my phone when I saw it. But I kept calm. Because we were recording now. Noah wore a wire. Alex provided it, tiny, embedded in a cuff button, connected to a recording app through Bluetooth. We weren't just hoping for a confession. We were going to orchestrate one. The next night, she walked right into the trap. Let's go over the paperwork again, she said, heels clicking across their kitchen tile. I want to make sure it all looks clean if your dad ever decides to get nosy again. Noah played it well. I told you he's broken. That wedding wrecked him. He won't even call me back. I was listening in live, heart pounding, fists clenched. Lena laughed, an arrogant, throaty little thing. Good. He was never real, anyway. You think I didn't know what your mom saw in him? Nothing. She left because she couldn't stand his face anymore. Silence. Then Noah asked it. The big question. So what's next? You and Miles. Another laugh. God, no. Miles is just a shortcut. I'm not about to tie myself down to some wrinkled tech guy with a drinking problem. Once the shares are through, we're done. He doesn't even know it yet. That was enough. But she didn't stop. I'll move the funds next Friday. Miles is in LA for that investor summit, so we can finalize it while he's gone. No risk. No trace. That was it. The nail in her coffin. We had names. Dates. Plans. Intent. Alex called me an hour later, after scrubbing the audio. This is ironclad, he said. You could walk into court tomorrow and level her. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But part of me needed something more. A performance. A mirror held to her face so she could see exactly who she'd become before the whole damn world saw it too. So I made a call. To Amanda's father, the Ivy League prick who printed that nameplate. I'm hosting a dinner, I said. Family only. Just wanted to say thank you for the lovely wedding. He didn't know what to make of it. I could hear it in his voice. But they came. Lena, Miles, Amanda, her parents, even Noah played along, pretending everything was fine. We rented out a private dining room in a sleek little restaurant downtown. White tablecloths, dim lighting, jazz humming through the speakers. Everyone sat down. Toasts were raised. Glasses clinked. I stood up and smiled. "You know," I said, "it's been a tough week. But I think it's time we put the past behind us. So I'd like to show everyone a little video. It's about trust, family, and ambition." Lena froze. Miles shifted uncomfortably. I clicked the remote. The screen behind me lit up. There she was, in the kitchen, talking about me, about Noah, about the fake fund, the shares, the fraud. Every disgusting word out of her mouth echoed through that room like gunfire. Amanda's parents looked like they'd seen a ghost. Miles tried to stand, but I raised my hand. "Sit down." Lena didn't blink. She crossed her arms. "You really think this will stop me?" "No," I said calmly. "But it'll slow you down." Noah slid a manila folder across the table toward Amanda. "Everything you signed, everything my mother forged. I made copies. You're in it too." Amanda snatched the folder, flipped through it, and her face drained. "You let your mother do this?" She snapped at Lena. Lena stood. "Oh, spare me the shock. Your parents already agreed to funnel the money once it cleared. You think they're clean?" The room exploded. Voices. Accusations. Chairs sliding. Amanda screamed something about betrayal. Miles stormed out. "And Lena?" She turned to me with a smile. "Is this your big revenge, Rick? A dinner party with dirty laundry?" I leaned close to her ear. "No. This was the warning shot." She slapped me. But I didn't move. Because I saw something in her eyes for the first time since this began. Fear. The next morning, the lawyers began their work. Fraud. Conspiracy. Identity theft. Enough charges to keep her locked in courtrooms for years. And me? I sat on a park bench near Noah's old school, watching kids run laps in the sun, listening to wind in the trees. I felt tired. But I finally felt clean. And the best part? 2 days after the dinner, Lena vanished. No calls. No texts. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her car was gone, her accounts frozen, and her office? Empty. She'd cleared it out overnight. But what she didn't know was that we'd already set the trap tighter than she realized. Alex had filed a motion with the DA's office using the wiretap audio. Lena was officially under investigation. And Miles? He cracked the minute he got the subpoena. Offered everything. Emails, bank access, transaction logs, in exchange for a reduced sentence. Said Lena manipulated him. Said she used her body, her promises, her lies to twist him around her finger. I wasn't surprised. That was her art. And just when I thought it was done, it got worse. Noah called me in a panic. They froze my account. What? I tried to withdraw money to pay rent. It's gone. The account's been flagged. I felt it like a punch to the gut. What the hell did she do now? That's when Alex called, same second, overlapping my call with Noah. "You need to see this," he said. I drove straight to his office. When I walked in, he looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. He turned his laptop to face me. This just came in from the Cayman liaison. On the screen was a withdrawal log. Lena had emptied every cent from the offshore account and moved it again, this time through a web of smaller transfers across 3 different countries. Money laundering in broad daylight. Using Noah's credentials. And mine. Why didn't the system flag it earlier? I asked. Alex rubbed his face. Because the account structure she used had time delays. The moment she sensed the walls closing in, she pulled the trigger. She's gone, Rick. International now. I didn't speak for a long time. I just stared at the screen. At the numbers. At the damage. She hadn't just betrayed me. She had burned everything to the ground on her way out. She wanted scorched earth. No legacy. No clean break. Just ashes. But even ashes leave footprints. That night, I went to Noah's apartment. He was sitting on the floor, surrounded by piles of legal letters, unopened bills, shredded papers. His face was pale. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "I screwed it all up," he muttered. "I let her in." "You were raised to trust," I said quietly. "That's not a weakness. She used me. She used both of us." He looked up at me then, eyes swollen with rage. "What do we do now?" And I said the only thing that made sense anymore. "We hunt her." We started with surveillance. Alex had a guy, Lucas, former cybercrimes analyst who got pushed out for being too aggressive. Perfect. Lucas got into her last known IP in less than 24 hours. She'd logged in from a boutique hotel in Zurich using a burner device. Booked under a fake name, but the payment slipped up, It went through using an old card she didn't deactivate. That was our opening. I sent the trace to a contact I hadn't spoken to in 15 years. I used to help his brother with union problems. The man owed me. And when I asked for eyes in Zurich, he didn't hesitate. 3 days later, we had her. Black coat, sunglasses, hair dyed dark, eating breakfast on a patio like she didn't have a trail of fire behind her. But what caught me wasn't the disguise. It was the man she was with. Not Miles. Someone else. Younger. Fit. Foreign accent. She was laughing, touching his wrist, leaning into him like he was the center of her universe. She wasn't hiding. She was already starting over. Lucas tapped the screen. You want to go public? I can leak this to the press. Or maybe we forward it to your son's ex-wife. But I shook my head. Not yet. No, not yet. Because justice in the courtroom wasn't enough. People like Lena didn't fear jail. They feared irrelevance. Exposure. Silence. So I came up with a new plan. I told Alex I needed to vanish too, for a while. Let her think the chase was over. Let her get comfortable. Then, when she was sure she'd won, I'd pull the last pin. Because she wasn't just going to pay for what she did. She was going to drown in it. And she was going to know it was me that pushed her under. Lucas helped me disappear. New name. New ID. Temporary apartment in a quiet city 2 states over. No phone tied to my old life. Just a burner and a laptop locked to an encrypted server. I told Noah not to contact me unless it was through Alex, and only if it was urgent. He didn't like it. Thought I was abandoning him again. But I wasn't. I was doing the one thing Lena would never expect. I was becoming invisible. 3 weeks passed. Long, quiet days filled with planning. Watching. Studying her. Zurich turned into Vienna. Vienna became Milan. Each stop more luxurious. Each man on her arm more expensive looking. Lena wasn't hiding. She was flaunting it. The money she stole didn't just fund her escape. It funded her new life. But that life was still built on stolen ground. I knew her patterns. She'd always had a weakness for vanity, loved being seen, adored, envied. And it was that vanity that gave us our next opening. A video surfaced on social media. Short clip. Poor quality. But unmistakable. She was in Venice. Laughing on a yacht. Clinking glasses with a group of investors from some crypto hedge fund. Lucas traced the video to a guy tagged in the background. Instagram junkie. He posted everything, including the hotel they were staying at. We pulled the guest list. Her name wasn't on it, of course, but the guy she was with, registered under Michael Drenner, alias tied to 2 shell companies she'd used before. Bingo. I called Alex. We hid her in Venice. Legal or illegal? He asked. Both. We booked a small room across the canal from the hotel, close enough to watch her movements. Every night, she came back late. Every morning, she left in something expensive. Hair done. Red lips. Always laughing. But the man? Different from the last one. Younger. Seemed more guarded. Lucas dug through his records. He was a known crypto broker with ties to shady investments. That's when it clicked. She wasn't just living large. She was reinvesting the money, using stolen funds to build new financial ghosts. She was laundering the last of it before she disappeared for good. That was our deadline. We launched the final phase. Lucas cloned her burner by bouncing a fake Wi-Fi network through the hotel. Once she connected, we had access to everything. Messages, voice notes, contact lists. We found bank transfers. One scheduled for Friday at 3 p.m. A digital wallet based out of Dubai. Once it hit that wallet, the money would be untraceable. I made one more call. To Noah. I'm going to finish this, I said. You're going after her? No. I'm going to make her come to me. How? By taking away the one thing she cares about more than money, control. That Friday, 10 minutes before the scheduled transfer, Lena's phone buzzed. An unknown number. A video link. She tapped it. It opened to a live feed. Her new boyfriend, Michael Drenner, sitting in a luxury car, engine running, tied up. Not hurt. Just scared and confused. Behind the camera, a voice spoke. Hi, Lena. Remember me? She froze. The video continued. I know about the Dubai wallet. I know what you're about to do. And if you click that transfer, this man never leaves this car. She panicked. Called the number. It rang once, then disconnected. She tried again. Same result. Then a text came through. Come alone. The Opera House. Midnight. She came. She always did when she thought she still had the upper hand. She walked through the doors in heels too loud for silence. Nerves crackling through her every step. No guards. No entourage. Just her and the night. I was waiting in one of the old red chairs. She didn't see me at first. Until I spoke. Take a seat. She turned slowly. And for the first time since all this began. She looked afraid. Truly afraid. But she still tried to play it. Where is he? She snapped. Safe, I said. As long as you don't lie again. You kidnapped someone, Rick. That's a crime. So is international fraud, money laundering, forgery, identity theft. Shall I keep going? She opened her mouth, but I cut her off. You don't get to talk. You listen. I'm giving you a choice. One time. One offer. You sign over everything. Every account, every share, every cent. And you disappear. You vanish. You live in a cabin and never show your face again. And if I don't, then I release every file, every video, every account detail. Your crypto prince will go to prison. You'll be extradited. And Noah? He'll testify. Happily. She looked at me, shaking. Then, suddenly, something cracked in her face. She smiled. Wow, she whispered. You finally grew a spine. I leaned closer. No, I just stopped loving you. She laughed once, dry and bitter, and pulled out a pen. Fine, she said. But this doesn't make you the hero, Rick. You're still just the guy who got used. I looked her in the eye, completely steady now. No, I'm the guy who finished it. Lena signed everything. Silently. No tantrum, no last-minute tricks. Just the faint scrape of a pen on paper, the subtle twitch of her jaw, and the dead cold in her eyes. I watched her, trying to memorize that moment, the collapse of the mask, the end of the performance. All that arrogance drained dry. What was left wasn't rage or regret. It was something else. Emptiness. When she finished, she pushed the papers across the table and stood. I'll leave tonight, she said. Where? Doesn't matter, does it? I nodded. It doesn't. She paused before the exit, hand on the heavy theater door. Then she turned around and said, almost too soft to hear, I did love you once. I think. I didn't flinch. I didn't believe it either. And neither did she. She left. I waited 10 minutes. Then I walked out too. Alex was across the street in a rental car, eyes on the opera house, just in case. I handed him the signed documents, and he scanned them with his eyes like a machine. You good? He asked. I thought about it for a moment. No, I said. But I'm done. We finalized everything that week. The funds were rerouted back to Noah's startup. The Dubai wallet was blocked and flagged. Miles was cooperating fully, eager to avoid prison. Lena disappeared, truly this time. No activity, no logins, no sightings. She became a ghost, just like I wanted her to be. I went home for the first time in weeks. It felt hollow, like walking through someone else's house. Her perfume still lingered in the drapes. Her robe was still hanging behind the bathroom door. I burned it all. One match. One quiet fire in the backyard pit. Noah came by that evening. He didn't say anything at first. Just looked at the house, the old porch swing, the crack on the third step he used to trip over when he was 7. Feels smaller, he said. No, I told him. We just grew. He sat beside me. We talked. Really talked. For the first time in years. He told me about his guilt. His anger. How he saw her lies, but wanted to believe the version of her she sold him. I told him I knew exactly what that felt like. Then I reached into my pocket and handed him something. A small silver nameplate. The original one I made for the wedding. The one that said, Dad, builder of everything. He took it like it weighed the world. I'm sorry, he whispered. I put my hand on his shoulder. Don't be sorry. Be better. We sat there until the sky went dark, and the cicadas took over the silence. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. I rebuilt slowly. Quietly. Got a new job. Something with my hands. Real work. Wood. Stone. Sweat. No more screens. No more lies. And every now and then, I'd think of her. Not with anger. Not with pain. Just a dull memory, like the sound of a storm long past. You remember how it rattled the windows, how it made you feel small, but it's gone now. Just wind. Just echoes. To anyone out there going through the same, don't ignore the little lies. Don't excuse the disrespect. When someone shows you who they are, don't wait for a second version. There isn't one. And if they ever try to burn your life down, you rebuild better. You rebuild stronger. And this time, you don't let anyone else hold the match.